Yeah. So we're just still super excited to talk about the MindWorks challenge that we have that Maria Shriver issued to the Shackley family. And you know what? This is catching on. I think we have some real power and momentum going here with this message, this awareness, and this amazing product. So for each bottle of MindWorks purchase, Shackley's going to donate a portion of the proceeds to fund brain health. So again, what a fun thing to be a part of, right?
Absolutely. And then it's great the company's given us some extra additional programs to help market and the product and to help us in connecting with people about it. So it's in effect now until the end of November. A person joins free with a MindWorks pack, which is 2 bottles for $99.90. And those 2 bottles, of course, would be enough for a couple to get through a month. And then for those of us that get the word out and we get people registered with MindWorks Join Pack, we're going to get a free water bottle if we do sponsor 3 that way. And by sponsoring 6, we get T-shirt and the water bottle. And we're going to talk a little bit about it later in the webinar about the effect of branding yourself. And that's what this is. The water bottle and the T-shirt is all about a marketing strategy called branding. And then the top sellers,
which is basically just being visible. What we do and letting Shackley be visible.
Yeah, thought just went through my mind. It's strutting your stuff, but in a nice way.
That's what we do.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
this is
Becky.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
I just had a quick thing to add about MindWorks that is such a wonderful side benefit. My husband started taking it just because he has dementia that runs in his family, and we want to just be sure we prevent all of that. But he also struggles with some depression tendencies, and he's taken Moodlift for years. But I told him, I said, there has been a few testimonials I've seen around that have said people have had a lighter spirits after they started taking the MindWorks. And I said, I'd be curious if you notice anything. And just like last weekend, he said, I've been taking that for 2 months now. I think you're right. I feel better about life.
Oh, I've had 2 other people tell me that too.
Yeah,
that is
such
amen.
a wonderful side benefit. Yes.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Well, and isn't that always the case? I remember one of the very first things I heard when we came into Shackley was that drugs always have side effects. Yep. Supplements always have side benefits. We might take it for one thing, but it
we
does
get extra
something
perks.
Right.
Could I quickly do a sound check on Susan?
Sure.
Susan?
Yes, can you hear me, Barb?
Oh, phew, yes. When there was that silence there for a minute, I thought,
well, I can mute
not much
myself.
sound. Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. Yes, good morning. Okay. Okay, Joe. And then the
free shipping has been
good,
goes through the end of this month, so we still have a half a month to take advantage of that when we sponsor someone with one of the product regimens. And then this really cool incentive, generating 25 sponsoring points in 1 month. If you do it October, November, December, you get 25 sponsoring points every month. And for every one of those 25 sponsoring points that you accumulate, you get a $250 gift card from Tiffany.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
We have one person who's already qualified for that.
Good.
Oh, my gosh.
Let me tell you, you need the $250 gift card if you're going to Tiffany's.
Yes.
But it's wonderful, wonderful jewelry. And then I haven't seen a ton of these MindWorks challenge videos. Is that the juggling?
Yes, and I'm supposed to be making one, and I haven't made it yet. I'll do that.
Just pick up some of those dog balls off the floor. And
It's true. I have got dog balls. Donna's husband, my office assistant's husband, is a tennis player. And did you know that serious tennis players get new tennis balls every time they
play a game?
What?
Yeah, they want more bouncy in it or something. And so I said, well, what do you do with all those other, because my daughter's dogs are just nuts about balls. Oh my, they're retrievers. And they're nuts about it. That one of them will put 2 in his mouth at one time to keep the other away from the other dog.
Oh, yeah.
So I was thinking maybe I would juggle with them. And any that fall on the floor, they can take care of. I just got to do it because some of the ones I've heard, I couldn't hear the audio on it.
Oh.
So I was going to do it maybe with the GoPro camera camera or something so that you get better audio. But anyway, I will put it on my to-do list today. Okay, I will. Okay, go ahead. Yes. And actually, I'm not a bad juggler.
Wow.
Oh.
Not that I do it very often, but I was practicing and dropped every third one.
Lisa, go ahead with this.
Okay. I was just thinking, I'm a terrible juggler. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so new member kits that they join with online, and they'll get the free shipping offer. So, again, here's just a nice list of all that's available. And I'll tell you, I have a lot of people on my team that are getting really excited about having this to offer with certain, every different product line has a free membership, free shipping offer going right now. It opens a lot of doors. So you can look through at the different options. Pick one, run with it, but you get the free shipping cleared at the end of the month and free membership forever, as far as I know.
Good. Yeah. That's a great.
Oh, I pulled out another one of the messages from the universe, and you can subscribe to these, but they're very upbeat. So a couple times a week, I get this message that this week it said, "Did you know that for every smile you smile, more than you give will come your way? That for everything you think of, it moves closer to you." And Barbara, that for all the love you give, the younger you'll look, the happier you'll feel, and the bouncier you'll walk. Always go for more bouncy.
I love that.
And so, can you imagine when you start the day with that? It's kind of like, all right, I'm going for bouncy today.
I love it.
Oh, gosh. Okay. And then Joe found this one.
Well, no, actually, my husband did, and he's been telling everybody about this. He loved it. But it is the same thing. I thought you should just put this on your ceiling, and when you wake up in the morning or you look at this and it says, "Today is a good day to have a good day."
Nice. I love it.
Good. And that brings us to today's session. Okay, Lisa, want to get us started?
Sure. Welcome, everyone. We are on Lesson 7 of our Teaming Up Fall 2014 sessions. And today we're going to talk about assembling our business teams. And I'm very excited about today. I think we have some great guests on and some really good information to help people get focused and targeted and develop a message. So here we go.
Click.
Yes. Once
So
I
here's
get going here.
our objectives for today. We're going to help all members attending the training reach rank of director by the end of November. We would love to have an email report for those of you on who are reaching this goal. That would mean the world to us, and it's really fun to get to kind of recognize and celebrate that as a group. So please do that. Review a few simple steps to follow when you're identifying business partners. So like the materials to send, the go-to things to get to them for evaluation, different events you can invite potential partners, business partners to, and then just some languaging, right? Some verbiage, so that you have some good idea of what you're going to say and developing that vision and the message. We want to talk about specific targets, and today we're going to give a little extra time to the baby boomer market, and I am getting more excited about this because, well, I'm starting to identify with it so much. So there's something to that, and then we're going to just talk about some dialogues about how to represent ourselves. When people ask what we do, we want it to be something we own and we're comfortable and that just flows naturally, so we don't choke a little bit and trying to figure out what we're going to say. So good day today.
Yeah, and just, a thought occurred to me, too, that what we're going through today will also be a model for approaching any target market that a person chooses.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, Katie. I was wondering if we'd heard from her.
Wait a minute. Did we unmute her?
I know I didn't because I don't know how, but
I didn't see her.
Oh, my goodness. Where's Katie? Oh, there she is. Wait, we never unmuted her.
Poor bless her little heart.
Katie!
She's having a heart attack.
Hello?
Hello.
There she is.
We've got so busy talking. Good morning, Katie.
I was trying to good morning. I was trying to talk, and I realized I must not be unmuted yet.
Just keep trying.
Oh, my gosh. I am just dingy today. Watch me today. I haven't had that mind work, so that's going to be a problem. Katie, would you like to tell us about what you say when someone asks you what you do?
Yeah. Well, a lot of these responses I gathered from different people. So thank you if you contributed to this. But, you know, we get asked this question all the time. You meet somebody for the first time, and they say, what do you do? And it's sometimes hard to try and think of, you know, different ways of responding to people when you're on the spot like that. So it's important that you practice this. And I know that kind of seems silly, but the more that you practice your little 30-second speech or whatever you want to call it, the easier it will be. And so when responding to what do you do, it's important to always start with your life before Shaklee, either your health story or a financial story, then what happened when learning about Shaklee, and then what your life looks like now. So, for example, we had just a beautiful testimony from a girl on our team, Angie, and she put together this incredible, I think it was like a 3 or 4 minute video of what her life was like for her family before Shaklee, then what happened when she was introduced to Shaklee, and now what her life is like. And she's got an awesome testimony. Her kids were always sick. She suffered from migraines, and she just talked about how the difference the supplements and the cleaners made. And that's a story that you can share with somebody. You know, I partner with this company that changed my life. Do you want to hear more about it? And go on to share a little bit about how Shaklee has changed your life.
Wait a minute. She made a video?
Angie Strumke did, yes.
And then what'd she do with the video? Then she puts it on Facebook probably, right?
Yes, she put it on Facebook.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
It might have been because we keep asking her, too, about her incredible migraine story testimony.
She got tired of
that. Yeah, but she, you know, for those who know her, she's so adorable.
That is
her video
very clever. Joe, we got to add that to our list.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. See, that would never have entered my mind to make a video. Very clever. Angie, well done.
I hope she's on this morning so that she
can. That's one option for responding to it is to actually tell people briefly, you know, what happened to you. But isn't that clever? Okay, I'm adding it. Go ahead. Okay, but then we have another option. Go ahead. And I think this one actually, Katie, came from Rick Seymour.
Oh, okay. So Rick Seymour said, for the past 20 years, my wife and I have developed a home business affiliated with Shaklee Corporation, and it's been so rewarding that we can't wait to get up in the morning and start the day. What do you do? And I love even saying the word partner. We partner with a company called Shaklee. Have you ever heard of them before? We're a part of a company, Shaklee, that helps to create natural solutions to health concerns, different things like that. So we're just going to give you some ideas of different responses that people do when they get asked, what do you do? Because what might work for somebody might sound a little off to you. And so just remember, make it personal and make it from your heart, because when you do, it'll be easy to just share it when somebody asks you what you do. So another example would be, I'm a mom that has partnered with Shaklee to invest in our family's future and others as well. I do this part-time. What do you invest in? May I show you what Shaklee offers? And this person just said, I sometimes don't stick in the what do they invest in. I'll say something about providing natural wellness and financial growth to our families. Just recently on a Facebook page, a mom was wondering about, she was continually getting mastitis, and I saw that Harper wrote something along the lines of, I would love to be able to help you with this. This is what I do. And so it was very simple, short and sweet.
That's
but
nice.
Feel free to message me if you want to learn more. But that is what we do. We help other moms, or we help other people when they're continually getting sick or they're continually having a health issue. We provide a more natural alternative for them. Also, Melinda has a great response. I'm a nutrition consultant and a business trainer. That's nice and sweet. I help moms build nutrition business from home. Shaklee is a community of health pros and enthusiasts who are educating people on a global scale. Shaklee is a company I partner with to educate communities about adopting healthier, greener habits. I always like to add in that Shaklee, it's very trendy to be green now, and Shaklee was green before it was trendy to be green. They've been green for a long period of time. Just like now, it's very trendy to, have non-toxic cleaners in the home, and they've been doing that for a long time before so many other companies started making changes in their products. Shaklee is the pioneer. I always tell, Dr. Shaklee helped to create the very first multi-mineral, and people are amazed at that. But truly, Dr. Shaklee helped to really pioneer the nutrition industry, and that's what's so incredible when we look at Shaklee's history, to see the first biodegradable cleaner, the first company to be climate neutral, and other things like that. And then here's another example of a story. Shaklee has my life. I used to be on antibiotics year-round for sinus infections, and I have now been sinus infection-free for 12 years. When I get to talking to people more about what I do, I share a little bit about my history as a teacher and how I love what I get to do with Shaklee because I get to set my own hours, it's flexible, and I still get to educate and teach. And often my audience is a little bit easier than a group of middle school students. So they actually listen. And then, Joe, I think you're going to talk about the next slide.
Right. Kind of what many times my husband and I, or I particularly, will respond. And I might just say, somebody says, what do you do? And I say, well, my husband and I started our careers as teachers, and we loved what we were doing. But we would often ask ourselves, wouldn't it be nice if money were the least of our worries? And then we'd think, fat chance that's going to happen. But then one day we were introduced to a home business that partnered with Shaklee Corporation, and it's been great because we were able to meet all our financial needs and then some. And so we've dedicated our business lives to helping others achieve their financial goals and solve financial challenges, as well as we help people learn about products that will improve their health. And it's pretty simple that way.
Yeah.
I like that. Mm-hmm.
So here's a little formula you can see on the bottom, and I'll give you an example of this in the quotes. But talking about when I started, and then sharing a little bit about your story. This is, hold on just a second. Okay, this is what I needed. I also could use, and I knew there had to be something that could offer me some solutions. I found and partnered with a company. So, for example, my story is always, when I was introduced to Shaklee, I was struggling with really bad allergies. I wanted to lose baby weight, and I was also looking for some type of job that would allow me flexibility that I didn't have to invest a ton of time in, like teaching, where I felt like I was working 10-hour days, but still was very rewarding. And I didn't have to leave my kids. That was the most important thing to me. And this is what I needed, the flexibility. I needed a natural solution to allergies because I was nursing at the time, and so I was very limited in what I could take. And I knew that Shaklee had something to offer me, these solutions. And so I found that as I started with the cleaner, I kept telling people about it. And so I started looking into the business, because if I was enthusiastic and passionate about just cleaner, what a difference the business could mean to me. So here's an example of a story. When I started 33 years ago, I needed far more substantial income than I was making as a professional. I needed to be at home with my preteen children. I had been looking for a solution to my son's asthma for years, and I needed a car that I could rely on. Those were all my unrelated needs, but I kept my options open just in case someone could offer me a solution to all that. And believe it or not, I found and partnered with a company with a 58-year-old track record and a stellar reputation, which gave me all that and even more. The income, the health solutions, the travel, and yes, even a car. They say if you do something you're passionate about, you'll never work a day in your life. Now what I do is look for people in whose lives I can make a difference, and I am paid a substantial income. So obviously this is a little bit more than if somebody were to ask you, what do you do? And then responding with this. But this would be if you get into a conversation. So you start off with maybe what Lisa talks about on the next slide, that I work from home and I own my own business. You start off maybe with a little bit about that. And what are people going to say? They're going to say, oh, really? Oh, tell me about that. And then you get into your story. And then because people will ask you, or I always like saying, I partner with Shaklee. Have you ever heard of them? And then they will either respond, Shaklee, oh, they're still around, or no, I've never heard about Shaklee. And then, if you've never heard about Shaklee, you have to have a good response for what is Shaklee, a good summary of what they are. So thinking about that, and I also was talking about another question I get frequently from people is how is Shaklee going? I get that a lot. How is the business going? And so a response to that I often say is, you know, it's going really well, and it's actually keeping me really busy, which is true. And that sparks interest in people because they, I think sometimes when we think of businesses, we think of this little hobby that people do, and they don't realize the business opportunity that we have in Shaklee, and that it can make a huge difference in your family's life. So I think we saw your about the next one.
Nice. Well done on that, Katie. I really like the way you personalize it for your own story, too. That's a very nice little format. It's very nice.
It is. And you know what? In our group, we teach all of our new people to very quickly come up with their 2-minute story so that they can just feel good about, you know, every meeting they have, every presentation they have, they can share, you know, why they do Shaklee and why they love the products. But, you know, you do want to make sure that you're at ease, because if you're at ease in responding to people, then that is a comfortable situation for everybody. So for me, like Katie said, when people ask what I do, I make sure I'm not giving them more information than what they're asking for. They could be just being polite, and they might not want to know my last 13-year history, you know. So I'll just give them, I work from home and I own my own business. And then I do my very best to quit talking, because that's the point where I know, do they really want to know what I do, or are they just being polite? You know what I mean? And it usually inspires a little bit of, curiosity on their part, and so then they'll ask, what is it? And then I always own Shaklee right up at the beginning, because I'm very proud, and I'll say, well, I have a Shaklee business. Have you heard of Shaklee? And that then enters us into dialogue rather than me just sharing. And so if they have heard of Shaklee, then we have this fantastic conversation. If they have not, I get to say, oh my gosh, this is such a great company. And then I really incorporate these couple of points right here. I help people put together nutrition and supplement programs. I teach people about household toxins, and I help people start their own businesses. And because it's short and it's succinct, but it embodies really the focus of what I do. And so it gives a nice overview. I try to avoid the bigger words, and the reason why is, if I was to tell someone I'm, you know, a wellness coordinator and I do that, people don't know what that means.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I've tried that in the past. So keep it short, keep it simple, and keep it relaxed, because you want to just let the engaging and the interaction happen, and not necessarily feel like you have to have. And Katie, you did a beautiful job, not to have this wonderful rehearsed thing, but this just natural thing of you and what you do.
Actually, I'm remembering, Joe, one time Gary saying he was golfing, of course. And I don't know about golfing, but I guess sometimes you're golfing with people that you don't know as well. And
right.
And I remember him saying, but, you know, I'm assuming people who golf are kind of in the business world. And I remember him saying that he was golfing with a guy who said, Gary, what do you do? And Gary said, I have a Shaklee business. And the guy's response was, you know, that's one of the things I love about you Shaklee people. You're always so proud of what you do. And that was probably back in the 80s I heard him say that. I thought that was, but that stuck with me, because Rick Seymour said the same thing. He said, I don't dance around. I'm proud of having a Shaklee business.
That's
you know,
right.
we have had owned our own business, and he actually said 37 years, I think, but, you know, we've owned our own business for 37 years and affiliated with Shaklee, and it has been a wonderful experience for us. It's been a wonderful company, and so to say it right up front and say it with pride, that's what people see. So we're not apologizing for ourselves. Very good. Nice job on that, both of you.
All right, so now we're going to move into the segment where we talked about finding your target market, and we're going to highlight a little bit of this baby boomer group, and we're going to talk specifically about women, because they're moving to phase 2 of their life, really. If they've had children, they've raised them, they stayed at home, and so this is a really unique market with some great messages that we have to offer. So, Katie, I think you're next. And you get to share a fantastic article. Go ahead.
I think what is so interesting about the baby boomers and about really anybody now, and I think about when I retire in the future, people are quickly realizing that we can't depend solely on our whatever type of 401k that you have or different things like that, because a lot of times a retirement is only going to give you, I believe what Barb said, is a quarter of what you're used to making. And if you think about the cost of things and how expensive things are, and as they go up, and I know for our family taxes and different things like that, it's so important to have a different way of earning income. And so there are a lot of people who get into retirement and they are not prepared. I'm sure if we looked at the statistics of that, we would be floored. I know a friend was just sharing recently that her mom retired and she's not getting what she thought she would be getting paid with her retirement. And so the Forbes magazine article has a great quote that says, "I believe the concept of starting a business for retirement income will become one of the most significant trends impacting retirement in the 21st century." This is very interesting. And I believe that the entire industry is poised for explosive growth, and it can be one of the most significant solutions to America's current retirement saving crisis. They say that we are to be saving in our retirement at a very, very young age. I want to say as soon as you get a job right out of college. And it should be a good percentage of your income. And I can guarantee that not many people are doing that right now because they're just struggling to pay their mortgage, let alone thinking what's going to happen in 40 years.
That's right. Survive today.
Right. And the AARP estimates that half of all baby boomers, 76 million, are interested in starting a business, and the making of a massive trend are in
That's
place.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
And I see that even, we're talking about the baby boomers, but I see that with my age group, and I see that as, people are realizing they could get a part-time job somewhere else, or they could work from home, and what they make is completely up to them. So that's what's wonderful about that. And with the average 50-year-old estimated to have less than $50,000 in retirement savings, that would last what? I don't even know how long. Not very long at all, though. When you think about, a house and bills and electric and all those things to pay, and there's an obvious need to find an alternative way, and we're going to talk about that today.
What's interesting, I just want to make a comment about this article, which I kind of condensed here for us, but this gentleman, Robert Laura, who wrote this article, is a retirement expert, and he said, I never was very supportive of or encouraging of the idea of home businesses until he started researching it, and he had just sort of if anything, maybe had a negative feeling about the whole idea of network marketing because he knew nothing about it, had never investigated just what that industry offers. And so he wrote this specifically promoting the idea of starting home businesses in network marketing. Click to the next slide, Joe. He's got a few more points about this.
So there's an increasing number of baby boomers, as we've talked about, that are just disenchanted with their current careers. They're looking for a way out. They cannot, I can tell you from personal experience of hearing people say, I am counting down the years or the days until I can retire. People, that's what they're looking forward to. And to me, that's sad because it just shows how dissatisfied they are in their job. And also, they desperately want out of what they're currently in, only to be set up sometimes for difficulty financially because they're not fully prepared. Or what has happened with, I know with some of my family members, is they thought they would retire at a younger age, and now they're having to work until their late 60s, mid-60s. I don't know. I'm curious. But my understanding growing up was that people used to retire at a younger age. At a younger age than what they're retiring at.
That's true.
At 65 for sure.
Right.
Yep.
So that's interesting, even that shift. And that a lot of times shifting their focus from accumulating a giant nest egg to a desire to be part of something bigger and better. And it's not just about the finances. What's interesting for these people is it's about something that they can not only help their families, but help other families, and there's no greater reward than that. They're looking for something that offers a greater sense of fulfillment and satisfaction, and that's what's so incredible when they participate in this Shaklee family. Network marketing offers very low barriers in entrepreneurship, often providing training, support, and ample encouragement along the way. And retirees need activities that keep them busy, relevant, in good health, and connected to others. And I know from my understanding, too, with mental age and the decline in their health, their brain health, my understanding is the more active our brains are. I think there was a really interesting article about grandparents who watch their grandchildren have a lower risk of having Alzheimer's, and I think it's because they have to think all day long. And Shaklee can be great for that, too, because
That's good.
They're not just sitting around, all day, watching TV. They're participating in something that is keeping them active mentally and physically. And I'll just close with this quote that says, many people don't realize that multi-level marketing companies are successful because they help people satisfy a number of important human needs, including feeling significant, having connections, learning something new, and making a difference. And that is definitely all the things that Shaklee can provide.
So good.
One point on that first bullet point is that most people have not had the experience of starting a business. Very few of us, we're in the business world and where we started our own business. And the point he's making here, so he's writing this article in the Forbes Business magazine. That is a huge point, that when he talks about low barriers to become an entrepreneur, he's saying you do not have to be a millionaire. You do not have to have a huge amount of money to invest to get started in these businesses and put your house at risk and mortgage your, that's what people do when they open these little shops up and down our streets in our little towns. Those people have taken a big risk to do that. And then they have to pay typically for some training. They gotta, to go to business school and get an MBA. Becky, I don't know what it was when Greg just got his, but I know at Northwestern, I think it's something like $50,000 a year to get an MBA. And so it's, there's a lot of expense that people have to invest to learn the training and hire, special consultants and all of that. All of that comes with the package, with what we do. All of this training, what we do here, we pass it on to the new people joining us just like someone else passed it on to us. It's really a beautiful model, and I had never given it much thought till you hear these business people talking about this.
Nice. I want to bring up just a point that Katie shared on a couple slides before, where they had made the statement that 76 million people would like to start their own business. So this is what you should remember. You go out and you talk to someone about the business, and they say, no, you have 76 million more, minus one, that might be interested in a business.
Right.
So you got to create that into your perspective, because they're not just making that up. Someone really did some research, and that's a lot of people, right? So it's a good perspective shaper. So there's another fantastic resource out there by Robert Kiyosaki, and I believe in our day and age, he's probably one of the most revered business minds out there. Absolutely brilliant. And he has this fantastic book called The Business of the 21st Century, and there's this segment of the book that was written by his wife, Kim. And it's just so pertinent to our conversation today, so I'm really excited that Barb found it. And basically, this is what she says. Statistics prove how much times have changed for women and point out the need for real-life financial education is no longer a luxury. It has to happen. We have to get knowledgeable and proactive about financial stuff. Depending on someone else for your financial future is like rolling the dice. Isn't that true? So the reward might be there, but the risk is steep. So she talks about glass ceilings and limits to income are what so many women have been fighting against for ages. And I'm going to show you some statistics on the next slide that I think are staggering. But both of those disappear in the world of network marketing. And then the two greatest gifts of all, a higher sense of self-worth and time to spend exactly as you want can be yours. So again, this all goes into the picture of the message that we have to offer a target group, right? Mm-hmm. So this next slide, this is the one I think I gasped when I read this. Statistics about women and money. 47% of women over the age of 50 are single. They are financially responsible for themselves, right? Women's retirement income is less than that of men because, for the most part, a lot of women have been the primary caretaker of home, and so the average woman is away from the workforce for 15 years as compared to the average man, 1.6 years. So you add this back to the lower salaries that we know that women are still receiving, and there's been in the last year a lot of kind of fresh new statistics about this that are rather dismal and disappointing because we kind of, I think, assume that things have worked out and they haven't. Mm-hmm. They say that you have retirement benefits that are only about 1/4 those of men. So you got to hang on to that with what Katie was saying a few minutes ago about how much we need for retirement and how little we have, and then focus specifically on women. Women are expected to live an average of 7 to 10 years longer than men. So then they have to provide, right, those extra years. And married women, this one kind of surprises me too. Married women who are baby boomers can expect to outlive their husbands by 15 to 20 years. So think of all of the women out there that need an option of something wonderful and significant, not demeaning. You know what I mean? I just think it's a big deal. Of the elderly living in poverty, 3 out of 4 are women, and approximately 7 out of 10 women will at some point live in poverty. So again, I just think that we're creating a wonderful opportunity being specific now, knowing and understanding where so many people are living at and what they're dealing with. Okay, so again, let's talk about our industry. So no glass ceiling, no limits on income. So because of our gender, women can move only so far up in the corporate ladder. And for women 50 or older, trying to re-enter the world of corporate employment can be very difficult. And this is a message that I've been sharing a lot more lately because I've been in my business almost 14 years now. I started when my kids were little, and I remember very frequently working in the lunchroom with other moms or volunteering in the classroom and talking about my business. I remember a few women saying, "Oh, you need to be very careful," or "I've heard that doesn't work." And I'm kind of stubborn, so I don't listen to much, and I do what I want to do. But here's the picture I'm creating now. A lot of these very same people I'm seeing working at the local Starbucks and the local TJ Maxx. I have several friends that are cleaning houses, and they talk repeatedly about how physically challenging it is to clean houses for 8 hours a day. And I just, and I don't say, well, look at me, I told you so. But there's something going on internally where I'm thinking, I'm awful glad I'm kind of stubborn. And I'm very, very glad that someone showed this to me because I've been able to stay at home with my kids, but now that we're moving into the empty nester at a rapid pace, I have something, and thank God, because I think I might go crazy. I have something of significance. And even though for a lot of women, they wouldn't be at the same place I am now, of course, starting, but what about 5 years from now? Could they enter a workforce where even right off the bat they might be looked down upon because of their age? There's a lot of age stuff going on out there. I've heard several different people talk about how they feel like they're being discriminated, several women discriminated because they're in their 50s and 60s, and they're just viewed differently. So it's a rough situation for women, and I do believe there's a lot of women that would love the chance to do something different. And then, of course, we look at the no limits on income. How fantastic is this? We can create something that continues to make money, and as we age, it has momentum, and it grows, and it doesn't disappear. So you can see because of the glass ceiling and the still present wage inequity or inequality between men and women in the job market, a woman is often limited to the amount she can make. So, again, some studies show the same education and experience as man, a woman earns about 74 cents per dollar. And, again, and think about that with a woman wanting to enter the workforce then at that age. That's pretty rough, right? So regardless of gender, in network marketing, your income stream is without limit. And I've always told people we have the best business in the world because there's absolutely no prejudices. Not male, female, not education, non-education, not age. You can come in and you can do this thing based upon you. So. And then is this mine too? I'm sorry. Increased self-esteem. So we've kind of covered this. I'll be brief, but again, working in something that we value, something that makes sense, having your own business, having control over what you do and not being at the mercy of, say, this is just me speaking, but if I had to go back to work and work for someone who was like maybe in their 20s, that could be a little hard for me because I've got some experience under my belt now, right? So the self-esteem of having control over my own success and my own business and getting to impact people in a way that I want to. And then the freedom and the control of your time. And I have a very good friend who I love in this business, and she has told me for years how Fridays are grandchild days in her life, and no one ever touches those grandchild days. And I don't have grandchildren yet, but boy, I've already got Fridays blocked off for them. I'm so excited about it. And I love the fact that there's not a single person in my business world that gets to challenge that, right? I get to make the decision. So the things that are most important to me, the things that are most important to anyone starting this business, we get to have some choices of where to make space for that. And it's significant. So you can see the story we have to tell now to women that are in this place of life because we see some unique situations. So. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about identifying a target market. We've spent a little bit of time talking about baby boomers, but we want to just show you some other ones. Young families, young moms. This has been a big one for me. I've got a lot of young mom groups, and a lot of it is because I remember being one, and I know what they're going through, and I know what they're thinking. So I know how to communicate to a young mom. I know her heart when she wants to stay home with her family, but she needs money, or she wants to provide the best products in the world, and she doesn't want to have to be on a budget for that, right? I have to laugh because I have a team in my group, and there's 8 women on this team, and 7 are pregnant. And
sounds like Katie's group, right?
And I was a few minutes late to the meeting the other day, and they were like ranking each other, who was like this many weeks and who was that many weeks. It was hilarious. Well, I got a little Facebook post, I think, from Harper the other day. She says, "I've got you beat. I've got 8 now." It's a fun group to be working with. I love it. You see all these wonderful, thriving Shaklee babies. Again, the baby boomers, that's a great group, and we've talked a little bit about the mindset, where they're at, wanting money for retirement fund. College funds is still a big one in my circle. How on earth are we going to pay for colleges? People being burned out. Katie talked about looking for meaningful work. I love this group, the musicians, the actors, the artists, performers. This is Jen Morris's little wheelhouse, if you would look at it that way, and she knows what they're thinking, and she talks about, they'll get a job, and the day that job's over, the money stops. And so she can really speak to the needs of this target market. So you see, we're kind of just developing the mindset around of finding a specific group that you want to reach into, have a powerful message for, and then cast a vision so they can follow you. Teachers, coaches, health coaches, fitness instructors, those are all fantastic matches to what we have to offer. And now I think we have a guest. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, and we've invited a couple of baby boomers to join us today. And there's a Becky. Good morning. And can I hear your voice, Becky? It makes me feel better. Good. Oh, good.
There she is.
I'm right here.
I asked them, Becky and Susan Knott is on as well. I've asked them to share with you this idea that they've been working on now for several weeks, I guess, Becky, and the process that they're going through of, targeting this particular baby boomer market, and to share their story a bit. So, meet Becky Choate from Iowa, and Becky, if you would just tell them a little bit where you are in your life and in your business, and then how you're working into targeting this group of baby boomers.
Thanks, Barb. Yes, I have been in Shaklee for 16 years, almost 17 years. My background is speech pathology, and when I started, my kids were 4, 3, and 1. And it's so fun for me to think back on that because I was faithful to work Shaklee 3 hours a day, an hour during Sesame Street, an hour at nap time, and an hour in the evening when Greg could watch the kids. And from that, I was really diligent. I was extremely motivated. Even though I loved my job as a speech pathologist, I really wanted to be able to be home. And so in that first 5 to 6 years of my business, I worked super hard. And by year 6, I was making $30,000, which is an awesome income. And at that time, along with my husband's income, we really were fine for years. In fact, fast forward, 10 years, so where I'm at today. And my income has grown some. I would say I'm probably at $36,000. And I would say I was active in my business, but I was more actively maintaining my business, if that makes sense, to make sure I had that income, but I hadn't come across things that were compelling enough for me to be home. I'd met my goal. I was home. And so now it's kind of going back and doing the head work. What is the next thing that's going to be really compelling, just as compelling as staying home with my kids now that I'm at this stage? And so now I have a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 17-year-old. So I have 2 kids in college and a senior in high school. So it's a really different phase, and which I love it. I love parenting gets more enjoyable as the kids get older, which is awesome. But I needed to find something new, and I really appreciate my husband's input, and I knew if I was going to have something that was really going to compel me for a long time, I needed to have his buy-in or his ideas, because then he could encourage me. And so I'm sitting there talking to him, and I'm saying, honey, I really haven't had anything as compelling as being home. And he just was so funny. Just without even a second, he goes, well, bring me home. And I was like, oh, okay. so
never thought of that, right?
I said, so you want me to bring you home? And I said, now, because to replace his income actually was very daunting to me. And so I said, okay, I need you to tell me exactly the salary I would need to bring. I said, would I have to replace everything? And he said, no, you wouldn't. And so we kind of figured out numbers of what I'd need, and he's a great numbers guy, so that was really helpful for me. And I've learned in the past that I need really specific number goals. And, in fact, I remember a conversation I had with Margaret Trost. I had just become a director, and I said, Margaret, I am so excited that I'm a director, but actually I think I need more income. I still want to be able to cover more of the family bills and all that stuff. And at the time, I think I was making $3,000 PV, and she just went through my bills with me, and we figured out the money amount I needed, and then she did the work of, okay, how much PV is that, or how many more liters is that? And that was so helpful to me. And as soon as I knew what I needed, I met that in 2 months. So it's just like, if you can figure out, I feel like the money amount is best first. Like, figure out how much money you need, then figure out what that equates to organizational volume and PV and directors, and then you can be real specific with yourself, and you can set really practical monthly goals. And my goal will take me some time because it's basically doubling my business, but that's okay. And I'm just glad to be a little bit more clear on it. Another part of my vision that is really compelling to me is we want to purchase an investment property. We have had fantastic vacations over the years where we always stay in a vacation rental, and I want that. I want to have a vacation home that I can rent out to people and earn extra income, but I also want it for our family to use. When my kids have their families, I want to be able to call and say, what week do you want the home this year? And give it to them for free. And then I really want it to be a ministry that I just think of how many families, including us when we were younger, that would have loved a vacation but couldn't afford one. And so I want to be able to say, you pick a week, and this is, you are welcome to use our home. So really kind of have a multifaceted vision on that. And Greg's totally on board, and so that was super fun. And so then we had to do, again, that practical part of looking to see, okay, in that area, how much do homes cost, blah, 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 all that stuff. So I'm reading a new book that's helping me with this head work that I have to do. And I would say head work is so, like, if you're feeling stuck in your business, you have to go back to your head work. You have to go back to your why. What is compelling you? Because I'm a perfect example. In the last 10 years, Rick Seymour would say, how cold do you have to be to get out of bed to put on another blanket? Well, I wasn't cold enough. I mean, we were doing okay. And so you have to figure out what is it that's going to be compelling to you. And this book it's just another twist. It's by Danny Johnson, First Steps to Wealth. But I love that she talks about, if you want to be successful, here's the 4 steps. You can't have any excuses. And that doesn't mean that, you can't ever not meet your goals. It just means you own it. You own that you didn't meet it. You don't make excuses about it. I love number 2. She said, no opinions or suggestions until you've proven yourself. And I thought, well, that's good. And then follow directions and get training, which is what we're doing right now. And it's so valuable and just kind of good just to get back to the basics. Like, okay, this is what I need to do to grow. And I love this quote: success is never convenient. In fact, neither is failure. So no matter what, you're going to be inconvenienced. And if success and creating wealth were convenient, everyone would be wealthy and successful.
That's good.
Yes.
Which is really hit home for me, because I think when you are at a place you're kind of like, it's okay, I'm doing okay, you really don't want to be inconvenienced. I mean, that's just kind of it. And so I need to be okay with being inconvenienced and know that I'm growing something. And then we're really excited about this new phase. We're empty nesters next year, and I can honestly say that I don't have any regrets in my marriage, in my parenting of our children, and in my business. And that doesn't mean I haven't made mistakes, because I've made tons of mistakes, but I don't have any regrets, and I'm so thrilled about that. I mean, like, that's a wonderful thing. Anyway, so that's a little bit about me, and then I think there's another slide. So looking at these practical needs, so this is kind of where our family is right now. We are paying for college bills. In fact, next year we'll have 3 in college. Some people have neglected their retirement funding. Maybe you need to help children financially, and for us, this equates to weddings, coming up. Health issues and prevention, and then generating significant income, just like what I want to do with Greg, so that he can come home and do with his time what he would like to do. Okay, what's the next slide then?
Oops, I'm sorry.
So those are the kind of understanding the practical needs of this baby boomer market, and then are the intangible ones, Beck.
Yep. And this is a really big deal, because you have more time to think about your life when you don't have as much caring going on and daily parenting. And so when children leave, there is space that opens up for you to think about what you'd like to create, which is great. And then you may be working in jobs that aren't fulfilling these people. They might be burned out. They might be ready for a change. It's really nice to be able to work with like-minded people and to be able to create something of your own. But I love that whole phrase about you work for or by, or what is it? You work, how does that, not by yourself.
You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
Thank you, Joe. Yes. And that's such a wonderful concept. I love that. And then definitely our businesses are an alternative for that sense of loss. And I would say for me, there is kind of this rite of passage that you go through when you send somebody off to college or their next steps after being at home. And I'm so thankful I have my Shaklee business. I still felt that to some degree, but I did have something else to put in to help keep my mind, help me keeping active, all of that. And I have friends that, have really, they have been paralyzed because they do not know what to do now that their children are gone. And it's very scary. And I even have thought of some of my good friends have homeschooled, and I think homeschooling's great. We didn't do it, but I totally applaud people who do it. But sometimes some people can not have any other hobbies except that, because it does take so much time. And so just having something else to offer them when this time comes is just a really nice thing.
And I just have to agree with you, Becky, because I'm exactly in the same place, and I'm so thankful that this thing came into my life this many years ago, and I had no idea the significance. But, I think often for empty nesters, we can feel like, well, what's next? The best years of my life are over, and I have really no reason to live. I know that sounds grim, but you can feel that way.
Been there.
Yeah. And so, to have something to say, okay, it is different, and yes, those years are over, but there is value you have to offer still, and here's an option,
Absolutely.
I agree with you.
Excellent. So nice job, Becky. Thank you. And Susan, just to so Susan Knott is also joining us, and I've asked Susan. She also actually she and Becky are in one of the accountability circles that we talked about when we returned from conference this year, and they're all baby boomers, and they have really picked up this concept about understanding and reaching into this market. So I've asked Susan to share. She and Becky really took on writing vision statements, and Susan's going to tell you a little bit about the background of how this idea came about, and then what the process is that they're all tracking to reach into this market. So good morning, Susan.
Hi, Barb. Thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
We do.
You're doing great. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, I can totally relate to Becky with how she was talking about the practical needs and the intangible needs, because I just recently turned 50, so I'm right there in the middle of all of that. And there's so many of us in Barb's group all over the country, and then even other leaders here in Chicago that I'm connected to that were in that baby boomer age of the 45 through 60s age range. So somehow, through conversation and discussion, we got this idea in our group to create a community for baby boomer women. And I realized that as I approached 50, my health concerns had shifted. And as I started jotting down the different ones, there were way more than I realized. We have, energy, focus, memory, menopause, hot flashes, bone health, breast health, heart health, digestion, and sleep issues, just to name a few.
Those are great.
Yeah.
That is exactly right.
And, then you add on cancer and autoimmune diseases, and there's a whole other field of them. So there was way more than I realized turning 50 besides bone health and osteoporosis, which is kind of what always was in my mind. And then there's also the, as I myself am a mom, so I'm crossing into the empty nest season. And for those who are moms, they might be doing the same and wondering, like Becky had said and Lisa had said, what we're going to do with our time. Even for those who aren't moms, I do just feel that this is the time of life where you're not as busy and time is opening up and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with it and fill that space. So that, along with financial concerns as well. You might be possibly wondering how you can bring in extra income due to the strain of the economy, college tuition, retirement, vacations.
Mm-hmm.
So I really realized that this is a really strong market that we as Shaklee business leaders can influence and help in all those areas. So, and Shaklee has a solution to all of those, as it shows over on the left side of the screen: the use, share, and build. Use and get results, or share your results and earn a little, or build the whole business. So I think we can click over to the next slide. And then we realized that we needed a process, thanks to Barb, to make this all come together. That she's always so good about helping us get there, because I think these visions can be great and wonderful, but then what do you do with it? So Barb has helped us establish that and really focus on the vision for our life, which is kind of like an addendum to a year and a half ago when we were all talking about the identity assignment that Barb had me do, and then share, and everyone has been doing. And this is more about your life now and your business and what it is you want to create now. And we wanted to create a community of like-minded baby boomer women. And so then you want to determine your target market, which we already determined that target market. And then you want to determine the needs of the target market just by simply asking people in that situation. Or if you are in that age range, ask yourself, ask sisters, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and just to get a full feel of what other people are experiencing at this time. And then you want to create strategies for accessing that market and develop your message. And you want to think about what you want to say and the resources you want to have readily available to use for the evaluation of a business. Get clear about what you want to invite them to, and partner with some other leaders to create conference calls and meetings and establish Facebook pages. Click. Yeah. And then, what some of us are doing, we're going to establish, and I would recommend everyone try and do this, create a private Facebook group. And what we're wanting ours to do is offer a safe place to express health concerns, get support and solutions, learn about preventative women's health, and along with ways to bring in extra income to help with financial concerns. And while you're doing that, you're creating that pull that Barb talks about so much, and hopefully you'll be able to then generate some interest in the business and find and identify some new business leaders. You want to make a list of women in this age group, or if you don't know anyone or need more, ask people who they might know who is in this age group and might be interested. Invite them to the Facebook page. Invite them to the conference calls where you're sharing with other leaders from this group your business stories. Set up three-way calls on specific health stories of whether it's osteoporosis or hot flashes or whatever the health topic of concern is that might come up on the Facebook group or through discussion, and set up three-way calls with that.
That's very good.
You can also, when you find someone who may have an interest in the business, we talk about three-way calls as one of the steps in helping people evaluate, but how nice it would be to make that three-way call with one of the other women in that age group who's been a leader in Shaklee. I mean, can you imagine to hear Susan's story or Becky's story in a three-way call? How helpful that would be to a woman who maybe has never been in business, never thought much about it, but to hear what this experience has been for these other women, because they're all walking in the same shoes.
Yeah, the value of being able to identify with where they're at is so huge,
Very good, Susan. Thanks. That's good.
Yes.
My pleasure.
All right, so let's just talk a little bit about the invitation and some wording you might use when you're getting ready to reach out and to invite a woman to be a part of this type of a community. So here's some examples. I'm a part of a community of women that's very special to me. We work together and to help one another in our businesses. This idea of support and camaraderie and just that team culture that we've talked about over the last few months is so valuable, because it gives that bonding of having a like-minded purpose, but also having people in your lives that believe in what you're doing is really, I think, huge for building this type of business. The idea of paying it forward, I think you could find any woman in this age group, and she knows that she's learned a lot. She's known that she's weathered a lot, and to be able to take that and to value and to benefit others with it, I think is good. We talked about this in the pre-call, empowering others about health prevention. That's a great message. So being able to reach out to people and say, you know what, I just love being able to share information that helps people be more proactive about their health. That's a passion of mine, and I love to share that. We want to leave a legacy of happy, healthy people because of our efforts. So again, meaningful effort instead of just punching the time clock and hoping to make your bills met, right? We want to no more. I love it.
That was Pam Carey. No more knickknacks.
Yeah, thank you, Pam. We are building a business of substance, again, value, and it's just so good. And we are achieving financial security through creating greater good. So again, take these, work on them, make them your own wording. Just like Susan said, it was so well done. Just turning it into being very clear about what you're doing. We welcome other women who share our values and would like to join us. I'm so excited this week about this topic, but I'm working on creating a mission. I'll just share with women. I am on a mission to find women like me who are entering phase 2 of their life, women with a cause, to make a difference and to create something significant for the rest of their life, And so, this is a fun meeting. You guys did a great job. Wow. Loved it. All right. I'm not sure. Am I talking about resources?
I didn't tell anybody.
I will.
Well, these are the resources, right? Yeah. Well, the reason we wanted to put these in is that we have learned, and Joe and I were talking about this, that, it used to be a few years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, if somebody said to you, gosh, I think I'd be interested in building a Shaklee business, it would strike terror in your heart because you wouldn't know exactly what to do, because there's so many new and really excellent materials, and we're in this world of technology and so forth that it wasn't clear exactly what to do. Now we are absolutely clear of what the steps are. So it begins with these wonderful conversations and I just thank Becky and Susan and Lisa and Katie. You have all done a wonderful job of just talking about this subject. You see what wonderful conversations you can get into with people. And then after you have the initial conversation, you want to send them something. We learned that, I think, Joe, back when Shaklee 180 came out, about what a wonderful process. Yeah, and they could turn around 10 minutes later and forward it to one of their friends.
That's right.
At the same time, I mean, it duplicates so quickly. But Susan, thank you to Susan. She scouted these out, and Becky reviewed them, and Crystal, I think, also. And they, so these now are all being archived in one location at the new Business Resources website that Chris Bell set up for us. So it's an adjunct to Better Health in 31 Days. So we can go get these without having to cruise around and try to find them. So that was it, why we wanted to give you some of the resources that will be great to send to them when they're evaluating. Okay, Joe, next slide.
Nice.
And Katie.
Just have to say, I love hearing what everybody was sharing this morning, because I think for me and for a lot of the women on my team, we think about here and now, and we want to stay home with our kids, and we want that flexibility. But I talk all the time with somebody on my team about how excited I am that even when my kids go to school, that we will still have that flexibility to be able to pick them up from school when they're sick or go on a field trip with them. So I'm excited to think about the future and how this isn't just something while I'm staying at home. This is my future, and I was hearing those stories. So thank you.
Am I still on, Barb? Can I add something?
Yes, good, please.
Okay. Just to tag off what you're saying, Katie, because I totally get that. And what I found as my kids got older, and so many of my friends went back to work, like when they were in elementary or junior high or whatever, is it is still really valuable to be an at-home mom with preteen and teen. It's great to be the house where, you know, they can come over after their sports or whatever, because a lot of people aren't home. And anyway, just to put that as a plug, that it is really nice to be home during that time too.
Yes.
Yes.
And I went on so many field trips, I knew the name of every animal at the Brookfield Zoo. Olga the walrus was my favorite, right? But you're absolutely right. It never changes. It's always wonderful to be that anchor at the house. That's right. Okay.
I just have to say that somebody in my family actually was fired from their job because their kids were sick, and they other things were coming up in their family's life, and you can't get that with Shaklee, you know. And I just, my heart broke for her, because here she was just trying to be a mom, just trying to take care of her kids, and her workplace wouldn't tolerate it. You know, when your kids get sick, you have a very limited amount, let alone if you get sick or if you need to go somewhere or do something important, you have a very limited time to do that. And so those are all very important as we think about the future, which is awesome. So as we think about, you know, building our teams and the markets that we're striving for, we love to talk about branding yourself, which just means to invest a little bit of money in shirts, sweatshirts for this season, sweatshirts for if you live in Chicago or somewhere cold. Water bottles. Shaklee's got some awesome water bottles and shaker cups and different things like that. They have children's shirts you can buy and onesies. And I love to just wear our apparel out. In fact, I even got some for my husband so that he can wear it, and he loves to wear it, and he's excited about being able to, you know, just show off what it is that we do. And so just go to the Shaklee Member Center, and you can look there, and you can find different shirts and things like that, and you will have people ask you about Shaklee, and they'll say to you, oh, Shaklee, I grew up on that, or different things like that, which will help get the conversation started so that you don't even have to be the one to start the conversation. They'll see it all over your shirt or your water bottle. I love taking my water bottles around with me everywhere. You can even brand yourself. This might sound kind of silly, but even just taking a meal bar and taking a snack bar and having it out and eating it in front of people. People are going to say, what are you eating? What are you doing? And just to be able to talk about that. And also, I'll just add one more thing. Shaklee makes incredible gifts as we go into Christmas time and this time of year and birthdays and different things like that. I had one of my dear friends who stayed with me this weekend, and it just slipped my mind that she was staying with me and it was her birthday. And so I was panicking because I forgot, to be honest. And so I was like, what do I have? And I just put together a little bunch of samples. I put together, she's a teacher, and she's also a mom, so I put together some immunity stuff. I put together snack bars, meal bars, a smoothie, and I just made a nice little gift for her to be able to take when she's out and about. So remember that, too, as you think about gifts to give people, too, that can also be an advertisement, too, to introduce people to Shaklee.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Was it you, Katie? Someone last week shared about this gal who got chased across the parking lot at the post office because she had something on her car that said Shaklee, and the lady was so excited to find her. So we have a fantastic brand. That is right, and people are passionate about it. So I love it. All right, we've got some action steps. So choose your target market. Think about who you have a message for, and learn everything about it. Identify their needs, get clear about their issues, start to create that focused messaging and vision for your life and your business, and then how you're going to share that with others. I love the fact that Barb put in here, don't skip this step, because it's really important. A lot of times people do skip it, and you can't underestimate the value of being very clear on the vision for your life and what you're doing. Sometimes even without words, you communicate it to people. It's felt, if that makes sense. It's important. Mm-hmm. So this is different than your 2-minute story, which we do want you to be good and develop, but it's deeper than that, and it's broader than that. It should inspire you, move you, and it will inspire others, and you will be able to lead people because of the power of your vision. That's important. Create a strategy to open conversations, to build relationships, and to discuss the benefits of your business. And sometimes this is it's a step-by-step thing. It's not like you just walk out the door and boom, boom, boom. You start the process of interjecting and sharing and having conversation. Make a list of all the baby boomer women you know, or ask for names of women in this age group that others may know. And then here's some ideas of what you can say. I'm calling to see what women you might know whose children may be grown now and out of the house. I'm a part of a wonderful group of women in our age group, and I'm blah, blah, blah. Or, talk about women who have some time to devote to a cause that's important to them and allows them to make a significant income as well. So I want to know if you know anyone that might want to know more about this. I think that's a great thing, and that's really my challenge before myself this week, is I really want to reach out to a good 20 people in my group and ask these questions and let them know what I'm doing and see what I might find. So,
Very nice. Idea. There are a number of very nice comments coming in and questions. One of them, there are several gentlemen who join us on Thursdays, and we really appreciate your patience. And so many people tell us we sound like The View. But, Richard reminds me that these target markets, both the young families, and now we're talking about, in particular, the baby boomer women, which can be moms because then they have the empty nest piece going with it. But even what we're learning from the statistics here is that if half of the 50-year-old women are single now, either through divorce or through being widowed. Or never married, right, is that they probably fall in the category of the burned out with the job, but I just think it is a huge appeal to be a part of the circle that we have in Shaklee, and this circle of friends working together, helping each other. I don't know if it's the same for men, but I know for women that is extremely appealing. And so for what Richard reminds me is that anybody, men or women, can approach young families, can approach baby boomer women and say, in our business, there is a collection of women, the circle of women in your age group, and I know that this business has been very important to them, but the camaraderie and the working together, they're just wonderful people. Susan said to me last night when we were putting this all together, and she said, I love my accountability circle. There's what, 5 or 6 of you, I think, Susan, and
6, yes.
6, right? And they're all in the same age group. They're experiencing a lot of the same things, that we've talked about today. But how much they love being a part of that. So men or women, we all can invite people to this as we continue to identify different target markets. And then I also appreciate Jeff Whitaker made the comment. He said, when you're in dialogue with somebody, you give a little and then you ask more. And then you give a little. I thought really nicely put there. Sally, you asked about the Forbes issue.
I'll attach that article.
Okay, I think it was from the summer, wasn't it, Joe?
August.
August, yeah. Good, okay.
So if they just go to Forbes.com and then put in the guy's name. And,
his name.
Laura.
Yeah.
Multi-level marketing for retirement, it'll come up, too.
Okay, and kudos to you, Becky, from Molly. Thanks, Molly. She said that she loved what you talked about understanding the specific numbers so your brain can have a clear goal. She says, I harp on that, so love her giving her real-life example. Thank you for that. That was good. People are asking for these slides, and even to repeat, Katie, what Harper says when she sees a post on Facebook.
Yeah. A woman said that she was looking for something to help with mastitis. And Harper said, I would love something along the lines of, I would love to chat with you. Part of what I do is helping other moms. And that was it. She just left it at that. Was curious to see if the person contacted her, but she was just, all she said was part of what she does is help moms. She might have even add find natural solutions or something like that.
But see, Allison told me that is a real challenge for her because she doesn't know sometimes the people that she sees a post from, and so I like that whole idea of saying, I saw your comment about your child and allergies, and this is what I do. If I can be of help to you, let me know that kind. I think that's a really nice way to offer help. This is what I do.
I have some ideas that I think might help you.
Yeah, that's good too. I like
so
that.
Nice, very nice. Several of you, Linda and others, are asking about where these slides are archived. We have 2 different locations. On Thursday mornings, the trainings are archived at bobsfiles.net. bobsfiles.net, and they're all, what do we have, Joe, 4 years of trainings that we have there, and there's
4.5 or something.
Yeah, there have been some really good sessions. Some sessions really work as a standalone session, but we try to give you titles on them so you can figure out what's in that session. Today is going to be an excellent one. It's the first time we've tackled this topic, and you guys did a great job with that.
Lisa, some too are wondering, liking your dialogue about I'm on a mission to find women.
Yes,
like if
me.
You can, if you
like
can send that
too.
to me, I can attach that too.
Okay,
I wrote that down also.
Do that.
It's excellent.
And I will tell you that these now are popping up on the new business website that Chris has given us. I love it because, and I have to apologize. I can't think of the name. It's like Your Better Future Starts Today or something like that. It's the branch off Our Better Health, and he's got these webinars, our Thursday morning webinars, popping up there. It's another option to go if you want to just do a one-click, have it open and play, slides and all. So I'm very happy with you, Chris. Thank you so much. This is fantastic.
Yeah, we love you, Chris.
Stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And also, someone's asking about what do the ladies use as a Shaklee business opportunity presentation as far as sending a prospect a narrated recording. And I think, doesn't Chris, I think I saw some posted
up there now.
Yeah, the opportunity presentations from...
They're on that website.
He is capturing. So to be clear, to register, if you're not subscribing to Better Health in 31 Days, you can subscribe to that and either by going to that website or Bob's Files. Is that how they subscribe? And then then you get this adjunct of all the business resources, and Chris has captured every one of those Monday business presentations now.
Yeah.
Which is really huge. And so they're going to be there. And he edited Steve Tuvell's, which is one of my favorites, that we did last October. That is in there now. So he's constantly adding to that website. So we will have, it's not going to be filled with every single thing, because then we're back to the same problem we had before.
Right.
Too much. Right. He's picking the very best ones and putting them in there so we can go and grab the ones that are most appropriate for the age group we're working with. So this collection here of the ones that kind of target baby boomer women, we can identify those in one location, and then the ones for the young moms. There's lots of things for young families in there now too. Okay, thank you. Hope that helps everybody.
Question here: are potential customers allowed to join the Monday night webinars? Yeah, absolutely.
That's who they're for.
For them, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, there was a question, Susan, I think this would go to you, about the Facebook group that you're envisioning, who that is for, and who you're going to include in that.
Well, we're still in the process, but it's this group of women who we've started talking about and creating the group. We're going to invite members, but I think we're going to also invite friends or relatives who are also around that same age group into it as well, not where they're just Shaklee members, but it's going to be a private group. So we kind of encourage everyone to kind of create their own private groups with other leaders, so you have this comfortable, safe place for people to get to know each other and ask questions.
Very good. So it's a bit of a prospecting website. So the point is, you don't want to have a giant one, right, like Sharing Shaklee. You want to create one, but do it in conjunction with, 2 or 3 or 4 other leaders, so you have enough for a nice dialogue, and so you have someone to share the work of it, the maintaining of it. But the idea of using Facebook like that, in a wonderful place. I mean, I see the Facebook group pages that our group has created for their various organizations, even when they start out small, and they just have the most beautiful dialogues there. Mm-hmm. It's really very nice, and eventually that may become a place where people hear a little bit more about business options, but it's not meant to be a big commercial site, right? So it's very nice. I just love the idea of it. You realize this all started. It started when I was it was the last week of September, I can tell you, because I was driving to Chapel Hill, and I was in the car for whatever it was, 15 hours, and it gets you thinking. And so that's where, that was when and then I started calling people, and of course I came up with the idea, and then they have to do all the figuring it out of it, but that was when, so this is very new. We were only talking about, 3 weeks that this has been, and they've made tremendous progress on it. But that's why we wanted to bring it to you now, because we just see it is such a great target group. I don't know why we haven't seen that before. It's really going to be wonderful. Okay, anything else, Joe, on here?
I think we've exhausted most all of them.
Oh, Maria Goldstein said the job market is not open to women or men very much if they're over the age of 50.
Right.
Yeah. They are going to. Well, my vision is for all of us, those of you who join us on Thursday mornings, to really tackle this age group, bring them into our business, and have them soar with records that gets the attention of Shaklee Corporation, and have them now be the next group to be highlighted on stage at the Global Conference in Cleveland. Would that be cool or what?
Mm-hmm.
In a million different ways. I know. I just think that is, and you look at the products that we have now, and several of you, by the way, have also shared that how much MindWorks has helped with mood and mood swings and depression and just opening up our
impressive.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, for sharing that. It's wonderful. In fact, Joe, I got to ask you because when I don't think they can see each other's comments.
No,
but I'm wondering if that audience view click would allow them to do that because there's some wonderful comments they make in here. Anyway, we'll play with that. But there's that thing called audience view. I wonder if they would see their questions then.
I don't know. I just clicked it.
Oh, does anybody see? Can any of you see that? Lisa? Can you
I
see
can't.
do you see? Do you know where the questions are?
I do. I have, and it's an empty box. So there's a box where I can
think
submit a question, and then I have a box that it just doesn't show.
So you don't see all the great comments that they make?
I don't. I just imagine them in my mind.
Oh, they're beautiful comments.
It's only for organizers, I think, Barb.
For heaven, what a shame. Because Suzanne says, incredible today. Thank you. 14 exclamation points here.
Oh, nice.
Sandra says, this is $1 million training.
Oh.
And thanks all of you for what, oh my gosh, these are beautiful comments. You should see these.
Nice.
Oh gosh, okay. Any rate, well, thank you for all your comments. I guess we can't even read them all, but they're so lovely. Thanks so much. Okay, very good. Well, thank you. Okay, so next, do we know what we're doing next week? I guess we can't. We don't.
Well, we
it'll
have
be
an
a
idea.
surprise. We have an idea.
We always have an idea.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
We'll let you know. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to spend one whole session on Facebook events and using Facebook in our businesses because that's just such a viable resource. It's really wonderful. So we'll be doing that, but we have to do it. We have to make sure Katie's available because she's got a dental appointment. So that was going to be next week, but we have to look at that again.
And we did talk a little bit about finding that right ratio between effort and goals and balancing having appropriate expectations for results and stuff like that. So I know we started that conversation.
Activity level. Right.
Yeah,
and then we're going to do the numbers thing. We got a lot of ideas.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, we're going to really spell out when someone needs a certain level of income. We're going to dig into the compensation plan a little bit more with specific, this is the effort that it will take to generate, $1,000 a month, and what happens, what it's worth to you when you develop one director, exactly financially what that generates for you. We're going to lay that out. Sometime, Joe, maybe next week we'll do that one. All right, so those are things to come. We've got several ideas to come. I just don't know which week we're doing quite yet, but we'll let you know. We'll send it out as soon as we do. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thanks.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye. Enjoy the fall. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Susan. Thank you.
Great job, ladies.
Yeah.
Good job. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.